our arguments, and we're good to go. If we didn't have SQL to get query, however, we would have to do something like we have to do string.format and then select, of course, from the users where username equals our argument, and then username, and then the same thing. But since it's not hard-coded, if there was something we wanted to change, we could just go, wrong one, we could just go boop, right here, make our changes, head back over here, and just change our arguments around, and we're done. So, now that you guys understand why I had to create the getQuery method, let's move on. Command SQLCE result set rs equals command dot execute result set. Result set options dot scrollable. So now we will execute our SQL query, and it will return a result set which we will use to check and see if it has rows or if it actually exists within the database. And the result set is scrollable, so we can scroll. If we had to scroll back and forth through the database, this will allow us to do that. If we didn't have that, then it will yell at us. So just make sure you have scrollable set. And now this is where we'll check. It's quite simple. Rs. If rs.has rows, then that means the username does in fact exist. So set our result to true. And make sure you dispose all of your stuff. rs.dispose and command.dispose. And return our result. Now that we can check and see if the username exists, let's create our register function. Public static bool register string username string password. Bool res equals false lock sql.lock, and pretty much the same as before. SQLCE command equals new SQLCE command SQL.getQuery user underscore register username password SQL.connection and command.execute non-query or int I equals command.execute non-query. If I equals 1, res equals true. Command.dispose and return result. Now execute non-query will return the number of rows that have been affected. So if this command in fact did work successfully, then only one row should be affected. So if it is 1 or you can use greater than 0, then our result is true, meaning the registration was in fact successful, and then we can check this later on when our clients connect and send our register and login requests. Now, just to be safe, we can check our queries to make sure they work. We'll just head over to program, and we will call sql.open userdb.sdf, and let's just do user management, or if user management.exists username, or my username. If it doesn't exist actually, then user management.register my username and my password. So now, and actually go to your queries and select both of them. Now, as you can see, copy to output directory. Set this to copy always. So when we build it, when we build our exe, let me just show you. Because you can see our SQL folder and our queries folder and our queries are over here. So when it's built, everything will be in our output folder. So now let's run this. Okay, and this database is in our actual project folder. So this is right here. This is the one that's actually loaded. So go to right click and add connection, go to browse and our login server, and now head to debug and let's load the database we actually used. Go right click on users and show table data, and as you can see, the registration was in fact successful. Now let's add our actual login function. Public static full login string username string password. Again, bool res equals false, and lock sql.lock, and I also forgot our login script. So let's go to queries and let's add a new code file and just name it check or user underscore login.sql. Now this will be kind of like user check, but a little different. Select from users where username equals, this will be our first argument, and password equals our second argument. So user check and user login are pretty similar. The only thing that's different is we're checking the username and the password. So the username and the password have to match together in order for this to return any rows. So now let's head back over here. SQL CE command equals new SQL CE command SQL.get query user underscore login username password SQL.connection. Now we can be lazy now. Var rs equals command dot execute result set options dot scrollable. If rs dot has rows, meaning it exists, res equals true, and command dot dispose, and return res and return our result. So now we have our exist method, we have our register method, and we have our login method. And that is about it for setting up our database. Next tutorial, we will actually get our socket system up and running.